We know what workflow is happening and we know what your next progression is. So we can build your roadmap over the next 15 months. We can get plugged into your team. We can start building intentional relationships with people you're sending us to train for you. It just sets the tone for us getting more involved on the front end because we're not waiting for you to make another decision in the future. Who's not on Cardone U? Anybody? Okay, so here's the thing. Cardone U is our online training platform, but it's what you use to teach all your employees how to train and how to communicate. But what it also does is they have to log in every morning and do 3 trainings. What happens if you have 100 employees or 10 employees or 3 employees, and you can look every single day if your policy is you log in, you train, and then you role play. Because there's no point in you creating mission, vision, values, value proposition, overcoming objection. There's no point in you creating all that for your business if nobody in your team is going to train. You guys agree? Which is why your business gets stuck, because nobody's training. So to grow your business through the breakpoints, you need to be a training and development organization. But somebody's got to be in charge of teaching your people to train. And all of a sudden, if you go home and go, I bought Cardone U so we could all train, you're going to have a series of employees that are like, I don't want to do that. I'm not comfortable doing it. I don't want to have to role play. That's all code for I just want to keep practicing on your customer after you spend the money. Like, does that work for you? So these are disciplines that need to be put in place. So when we went back and looked at our most successful practices, what we saw is to go through that journey, it was taking them about 30 months. And most of them were growing anywhere from double to Silva's grew 11x, okay? So now they were like, what if we don't want to wait 30 months? What if we want to put a plan in place that for the next 15 to 18 months, all that can be done. We can just start sending our people through, we can start curating the process, we can pull time, money, energy forward. We trust that we're going to be better off at the end of that cycle than doing it piecemeal over the next 30 to 36 months. So we created a program called the Elite 125. And what that program is anybody that says, I want to go all in, that's our code, all in. I want to go do all that with you guys, and I want to start the process now, because now what happens is I don't wait for you to make another good decision. I didn't feel good when I would show up and they'd be like, you're here and this is what we're doing, and here's the next thing, it's another price. Here's the next thing, it's another price. I just want to know. So if you don't have Cardone U, you don't have anything, and you start from absolute scratch and you spend this journey with us, you're going to spend somewhere around $475,000. But you're only going to spend that if you're making money and you're getting returns. And that's why the journey takes so long, because the confidence is low. 36 months ago, I could give you the same talk, but you don't have one client you're working with here. But now we have thousands, and now the testimonials are coming out and we have evidence. So if I know and you go, I'm all in, this is a 15-month program, and it's every single one of our programs. But the thing is now we can put you in the system. We know you're coming, we get you to identify your teams, you get a concierge person, we know what workflow is happening, and we know what your next progression is. So we can build your roadmap over the next 15 months. We can get plugged into your team. We can start building intentional relationships with people you're sending us to train for you. It just sets the tone for us getting more involved on the front end because we're not waiting for you to make another decision in the future. Does that make sense? Which means I can go pull resources forward for that group of people. So we created the Elite 125, and that group is a group of entrepreneurs. Doesn't matter what your revenue size are, but that's a group of business owners that go, you know what? We want to create a $125 million business. And a $125 to $175 million business is what Wall Street calls a platform company. The reason they call it a platform company, and the reason we call it platform, is because across those 10 elements to get to 125 million, everything has to be in place and they all have to be working together, which in essence creates the platform to build on top of. Does that make sense? People who are in the Elite 125, the minute we start working with them and figuring out how we can complement them, we start going into their marketplace with 10x buy sell. We start looking at businesses to buy with them because we know we're going to be partners. We just know that it's going to take 15 to 18 months to get there. We had 3 or 4 people, I didn't even tell about this program here, that have already opted into this program, just talking to the team about what's the roadmap look like to get as big as you can, as fast as you can, with as many people as you can. Well, like any business, if you know that every time you talk to a customer, you have to serve that customer and wait for that customer to make another decision, you can't add infrastructure, you can't add resources, you can't dedicate certain things that you would otherwise wait until you generated the revenues to deliver it. But for the Elite 125, when you make that commitment, I start building resources for you because I know you're serious about where you're going, and I know we're committed and we're working together. So that segment of the group gets pulled into a concierge group where we're monitoring the health of the business. We're in direct communication with those business owners because we know already those are our future partners. And it differentiates kind of the slow, methodical path of going through it. Now, how many of you, this is your first event? You're here for the real estate club, that's fine. And we're gonna show you through real estate, just like Grant has me, how to blow up your money. But if you're like, we wanna impact our net worth, we wanna blow up our business, and we wanna generate a bunch of money so that we can invest in real estate, I just want you to know you can have it all right now. You don't have to wait and wonder what the process is, because now you know. So if you start working with us, I can promise you statistically, about 70% of our people that work with us quit somewhere in the process. 30% that get all the way to the bottom and go all the way through, they're crushing it. What I found, the reason people quit is they didn't know what was next. So I'm informing you what the process is. I'm informing you, so if you are like, no dude, I just want to come to the 10X 360, see how that changes my business, go home and grow by 30 to 50%, go to some of the workshops, get my confidence high, generate more money, then I want to do the next thing, then I want to get through that. I'm just telling you this is the roadmap, so you're not confused. But if you're like, hey, I want to end up here as fast as possible, that's a different decision. They're both just decisions. And we're committed. There's no right or wrong here, but like at GrowthCon, for our strategic business unit and our business partners and the people that are in my leadership program. So what's included in this is every single thing that I've built. My 15-month leadership program, that's $180,000, and I have 200 people in that program. It's kind of my highest impact, smallest specific group of entrepreneurs. I've been doing that program now for 12 years, and then we modified it and redid the whole program when I partnered with Grant. So it's things like this. It's just a whole bunch of elements that get you to partner status and curate your business. Our teams knows what the details are. So if you're a business owner and you're like, hey, I want to put my head down, I want to blow this thing up, I've heard enough to make a decision. What is involved with taking my business from where it's at to as fast as I can, 10Xing it, have that conversation with us as it pertains to your particular business. If you're like, we want to take our time, we'll work and navigate our way through it, that's okay too. But now you know that if you go to the events, when you go home and get the returns, and expect that the next thing's going to have a cost associated with it too. So you're not like, every time I go to an event, they're selling me another event. Because until you curate through this process, you're not an expert. And if you're not going to go and learn to be an expert, and you're not going to send your people so we could teach them to be an expert, and you're just going to keep hiring people hoping they figure it out with you on something you don't know anything about, you're going to continue to do the same thing that you've been doing in the past, running up against the same issue, and that is by definition the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over, trying to get a different result.